So I bought a new guitar. Hey everyone, Nisabel here, and this is a 1996 Fender Japan MG69 Mustang that I recently picked up. Now, a little something you may not know about me is that I'm not really one to buy an instrument with the intention of selling it or trading it in the future. In fact, every single instrument in my collection is one that I fully intend on playing for the rest of my life. On top of that, I put a hard cap on my collection at 7 guitars outside of my Martin backpacker, making this Mustang number 6. All that to say, every guitar I own needs to be distinctive enough from the others and fill a need that isn't currently being met. So the question you may now be asking is, why did I burn one of my last 2 guitar slots on another short scale offset guitar with single coil pickups and a vibrato? Well, even though I mostly play a Jaguar these days, the guitar that I grew up learning on was a 2001 Stratocaster that wasn't mine but would periodically end up in my possession for long periods of time. That guitar has since gone back to its owner, and unfortunately, it's left a Strat-sized hole in my heart that my other guitars can't quite fill. Now, the funny thing with that Strat is while I always loved the way it sounded, I was never a huge fan of how it played. Probably due to my less than stellar technique, I would always knock the pickup selector, turn down the volume knob when strumming, and personally, I always found it hard to be as expressive as I wanted with a Strat vibrato system. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Strats are honestly the perfect guitar, especially if you want as much flexibility as possible from a single instrument. But unfortunately, they're just not perfect for me. Enter the Mustang. Looking for Strat pickups and an offset body with a short scale neck and the weirdest looking vibrato system around, then look no further than Fender's student model, the Mustang. This guitar immediately delivered exactly what my ears were missing without the pickup selector or volume knob to get in the way of my clumsy right hand. Plus, with that signature out-of-phase setting that Mustangs are known for, I had even more sounds to work with than ever before. And while I've played other Mustangs in the past, there was just something really special about this one in particular. I don't know if it was how thin and fast the neck felt or how perfectly balanced the body was, but as soon as I picked up this guitar and strummed my first chord, I knew she was the one. Now, does this mean that she's perfect? Not gonna lie, she's pretty close. If you told me that I wasn't allowed to mod this guitar and could only do a basic setup, I could honestly live with that. But why in the world would I settle for just living when I could be having fun with this guitar? So today, we're gonna tear this guitar apart, put in some shielding, completely overhaul her electronics and wiring with some new pickups, and set her up with a fresh set of burly slinkies and a rebalanced vibrato to get her playing better than ever. So let's jump into it. Now that we have her all disassembled, let's talk about our electronics. For today's wiring mod, we're going to start with the typical series parallel mod. This turns the neck switch into a 3-way pickup selector like a Telecaster or a Jazzmaster, and the bridge switch into the series parallel selector. I do this because I like my guitars to have a strong and weak setting. For example, Hazel and Banshee both have their stronger humbuckers as well as their weaker coil splits, while Ariel and Penelope have their weak mute and strangle switch settings to contrast their bright biting pickups. One of the consequences of this mod though is that it does away with the iconic phase switching of the Mustang, which is just not okay in my book. So to add that back in, we're gonna wire in a push-pull pot to swap the phase of the bridge pickup. The wiring makes sense in my head, but honestly, I have no idea how this will work when she's in series mode, or if it'll even work at all. But we'll find out together. For the pickups, I was actually surprisingly happy with how the stock pickups sounded. But while I like the overall low output vintage spec characteristics of these pickups, they were definitely lacking a bit of clarity in the neck as well as some body in the bridge. Thankfully, Seymour Duncan let me pick out a set of pickups for this project, so I went with a pair of Mustang Antiquity 2s. This set essentially refines and improves on all the things I love about the stock pickups, with the addition of some added low-end response and that sparkle on the top end that I'm looking for. So if you like what you're hearing in this video, check out the link in the description below to get a set of your own. It's a great way to get some awesome pickups and it helps out the channel as well. But now that we have our whole battle plan laid out, let's get to work. I would like to introduce you all to my newest fretted friend, Cali. Now, this is typically the part where I wrap things up, but before that, I want to talk about a few takeaways I have from my first Mustang build in case you were thinking about taking on a similar project of your own. Number one, Mustang cavities are much smaller than I anticipated. In the end, I was able to get all my wires in there and the pickguard on, but it was definitely a struggle at some points.
I don't know if those wires are gonna fit in here.
It now makes a lot of sense that I've seen a few Mustangs with full-on swimming pool routes to accommodate their mods. Number two, There is way too much variation between Mustang pickguards. I'd originally planned on replacing the pickguard for this build since the stock one with the yellow finish was kind of reading a bit too McDonald's for my taste, but when it came to finding a replacement guard, I had a really hard time finding one that actually fit. I ended up ordering 3 different pickguards, all of which claimed to fit 90s Japanese Mustangs, but unfortunately, not a single one fit mine. I did finally get one that fit a few days ago, but not gonna lie, the stock one has kind of started to grow on me. I don't know, I'm still on the fence, so I'll put up some images of both pickguards on screen now, so let me know in the comments which one you like best, and hopefully that will help me make a decision. And finally, number 3, the series parallel switch surprised me, but like in a really cool way. When I've done this mod in the past, it's always been with pretty bright pickups like Texas Specials or Lawler Special Ts, which typically yields a loud and aggressive humbucker-esque sound when the mod is engaged. But in the curious case of Cali here, we got something a little stranger. When the phase switch is pulled, we get this biting, honky weirdness that I am absolutely in love with. While in phase, we get the boost in volume that you'd expect, but also a sound that is much, much darker. It's so fat. Not unlike the rhythm circuit on Ariel. Since these two guitars do share so many similarities, I was thinking about doing a full-on comparison video between the two, so let me know down below if that's something you'd like to see. But with that, I hope you all enjoyed our little journey down Mustang Lane. She is absolutely a guitar that I'm happy to call my second to last one. And as always, thank you so much for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next one. Happy playing!